Let's talk about those children I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, in particular, children who are living in poverty and who are going without. Elizabeth Lamb by day is the director of outpatient services at Doctors Hospital, but for our needs today, she's with Leadership Columbia County, part of a great effort that I hope you will join, and Brian Adams, a school social worker with the Columbia County School System. Brian and Elizabeth, thank you so much for being here. Thank you. Brian, let me just first of all get you to paint a quick picture of the kids we're talking about. If you look at the national statistics, they show that some 30 million kids live in poverty. And when you have north of 25,000 kids in your school system, chances are it's going to hit some of them as well. Have you seen firsthand examples of children who are just flat out going without each day?
Yes, sir. We get a large portion of families that come in kind of on fixed incomes who are living kind of day to day, week to week throughout the school year. There's a lot of things we do as school social workers to help them as far as providing different programs to help, free breakfast, free lunch, some of those things. We help with school supplies and any other resources the family may be lacking in the home. You run into a lot of families that don't have that overall support in the community, or they may not have a strong family support. So we kind of step in and try to help as much as we can.
Well, how do you find out about it? You know, you mentioned the lunches and breakfasts and in some cases dinners that schools provide. We see those kids in the cafeteria. We know that they have issues obtaining food. But what about it when it goes to clothing? Have you seen folks who just don't have enough money to buy clothes for their kids? And how do you find out about it?
A lot of our referrals start kind of front line with the teachers. You know, I kind of tell them they see the kids a lot more than we do. As a school social worker working in 7 schools, we don't individually, you know, go to schools and look at every child, or we're not able to meet with every family, unfortunately. But we get a lot of referrals from teachers, school counselors, anyone at school who's concerned. We've had bus drivers reach out to us that pick the kids up, who may see a family who is dropping kids off at a bus stop because they've lost their housing and those kind of things. So it's a kind of overall team atmosphere with Columbia County Schools, and we all work together to try to meet the needs of the students.
Well, Elizabeth, tell me how you became aware of this and how you decided to get Leadership Columbia County involved.
Well, as a group, Leadership Columbia County, we were charged with coming up with a class project, and we all worked together. We had a lot of great ideas, but I think we were just thinking more big picture in the county, how we could make an impact. And through the program, each day of the month that we spend together, we focus on a different industry. And this particular day was the education day, and we were all sitting in the Grovetown High auditorium listening to Dr. Sandra Caraway, and she shared with us a lot of what Brian just shared, and I think we were all really touched. I don't know that we all really fully understood that there was such a need and there was such poverty within Columbia County school systems, and it had a strong impact on us.
So you're zeroing in on socks and underwear.
We are.
Tell me why that's your focus, and then I'll get Brian to tell me, you know, is that what you were talking about a moment ago when you saw the need? Why'd y'all decide to try to help supply those garments?
Well, it was an example that Dr. Caraway used, because I think a lot of us started asking questions. What do you mean poverty? You know, within Columbia County, tell us a little bit more about it. And I think it kind of all made us come together and want to focus on a project centered around that. From there, I went and met with Brian and said, tell us a little bit more. You know, is it truly socks and underwear? Is it jackets? You know, what is it that is most needed within the community? And that's where Brian.
You've seen people without these things. You've seen kids that are probably having to wear the same pair of socks all school week long.
Yes, sir. Again, with their students being limited on resources at home and families kind of not being able to meet those needs, it's a great need.
Brian, does a stigma ever get attached to these kids where their classmates might find out about the things that they don't have and ostracize them? Have you seen that?
Not in particular, because I mean everybody works kind of professionally to help meet the kids' needs. So if it comes from a counselor, everything is done outside of school in a lot of cases. We do home visits. We go out and meet with the families. A lot of resources we provide go directly to the home. They're not done per se coming straight from school. They're done, you know, at home with the students.
So what's your goal, Elizabeth, to outfit every child in need?
Most definitely, but also to, I guess, leave a legacy. You know, we not only want to focus on this year, but years to come. We want, and maybe next year it won't be just socks and underwear. Maybe other needs will be identified, and we can focus on those. Whatever the need is, we want to meet.
So I'm just imagining completely successful drive, tons of socks, tons of underwear, How can children in need take advantage of this? How can they say, I want some of that?
Well, a lot of it will start from the schools and kind of educating the workers at school on what we can provide and some of the services from these programs that we can kind of reach out to the students with. And so a lot of it will start from, maybe the guidance counselors or teachers identifying students that could, we can meet these needs for. Starting next year, at the beginning of the school year, we give out a lot of school supplies, and we help on that end, and we're hoping that we can identify some students then that we'll be able to, provide services for.
I'll ask either one of you this because it just struck me when I was preparing for this segment. When you think Columbia County, you think prosperity, you think growth. You don't think about poverty really that much. And so my question is, are these kids coming from all over the county? Is there a particular portion of it or a particular school where it's most prevalent?
It's all over. When I first met her, we kind of went over the list, and I kind of showed her the families that we have identified as being homeless or doubled up. Just means a family living with another family. And it's wide from, county-wide. It's not just one pocket in the area, it's throughout the county. So once I showed her that, I think that kind of got them a little more vested in understanding some of the needs that we try to reach out with, whether it's utility assistance, again, or school supplies. I think that kind of gave them an understanding of kind of what we're dealing with in the community.
I asked Brian about, Elizabeth, the stigma that might be attached to somebody who doesn't have socks or underwear. And, thankfully, he said he hasn't really witnessed that because people are kind. But what about discretion? How private can you keep this if someone does need to come to you all and say, can I please have some of these supplies?
Well, and that's something that we did discuss with Brian because we don't want it to be embarrassing for the children or the family. We will deliver everything to Brian, and they will be distributing it on an as-needed basis privately. Like you said, they make home visits. One of the stories that really impacted me that Brian shared was even students that don't have meals, and they'll go in when the children are outside of the classroom, they'll pack bag lunches, and they'll secretly put them in their book bag, and they'll go home and they have that lunch, and no one sees it happen. Mm-hmm. It's done, and no one knows, but that child at least has that one meal when they go home. And that kind of discretion made me feel even more comfortable with this kind of drive. And I know that they will handle that very well.
Have you seen kids skip school or maybe even in worst case drop out because they just can't take this anymore?
There's been a few cases where students didn't have the needs, and the older they get, they have some of the peer pressure to have some of the things that some of the other students have. So it does affect them. The older students, in particular, they're kind of judging themselves on other people who are around them, so it does impact them greatly.
Elizabeth, we're going to promote the Easter egg scramble, which is coming up April 15th in Columbia County, as a way that you can just have kind of a one-stop drop-off for these socks and underwear. But in the meantime, before we even get to April 15th, how can viewers who are watching help you?
If you go to our website, showucaregiveapair.com, you'll see the many drop-off locations. There's certainly ones at the Columbia County School Systems, the Family Y is a partner, Doctor's Hospital, Columbia County News Times. There's many different partners that have agreed to have drop-off boxes. But go to our website and check that out, and then certainly join us for the Easter egg scramble.
And we'll tell you all about the Easter egg scramble on our website. I'll give you that address at the end of the broadcast. Last question, Elizabeth, you're going to be overwhelmed, I predict, by socks and underwear. Do you have a warehouse or something you can store these before you distribute them?
I'm really hoping that Brian does.
Brian, do we have somewhere to put them?
We have a community warehouse that's already storing about 2 pallets now of donations that we started up front with. So it's going along well, so we do have a place to put them all. So.
Well, that's good, and I hope we pack that warehouse to the rafters. Elizabeth, thank you for leading this effort, and all of our friends at Leadership Columbia County, thanks to you. And Brian, just on a day-to-day basis, thanks for helping our kids.
Thank you.
Absolutely.